Also, the ability to storytell has exploded. You don't need an editor-in-chief. You don't need the local newspaper. You don't need someone at the TV network saying that you're allowed to be on camera and talk to the world. That's gone. There's not a person watching this who doesn't have permission now to tell the world their story as a human or their story about the business or organization, nonprofit, or whatever other body they're working with to the world.
What's up, everybody? Good to see you. So today's video is a little different than anything I've ever done on this channel. And you remember when we were in school, and I guess it depends on how old you are, but remember when we were in school and the teacher would wheel in a TV and you knew that that day you were going to watch something interesting. You either going to be a story or something different, but you knew you didn't have to sit back and have the lecture style learning that you had that day, so you felt good about it. Well, today's something like that for me, at least, because I've never done this type of video before. Somebody else is going to be teaching today, and I think this is a very powerful video, which is why I'm posting his video, and I don't want to just regurgitate the same thing he said. His name is GaryVee, and in case any of you have never heard of him, he's a really big influencer and he's got really big businesses outside of just being on social media. And this video he posted a couple days ago I think is really powerful, because those of us, if you're here, you probably, odds are, want to be a business owner, or you're working directly with a business owner who needs some help. But our marketing efforts have to be catered to our customers in a different way if you really want to be successful. And this video talks about the way you should do that, how it impacts your customer. And then, you know, it has a handful of different powerful points in it, but there's a couple bigger ones that I want to talk to you on the back end of this video. It's about 7-8 minutes long, and like I said, I think it's very powerful for us to, nobody's talking like this out here, and I think you need to hear this from him at this time going into your future operations. So check it out. I'll come back on the back end and tell you a couple of powerful points that I thought came out of this video.
There's a reason a lot of people go out of business, and it is almost always directly correlated to them missing the mark on the customers they're trying to reach. Most companies, big or small, are really struggling in assumptions or yesterday tactics to reach customers. I believe that there is not enough emphasis put on the actual consumer. Caring when it comes to marketing is respecting one's time. I think we don't respect consumers' time. And if we're gonna fill them with messages, wouldn't it be nice for them to enjoy it? When you come from a lens of caring and empathy, you just tend to make better advertising. You tend to make better advertising. I'm Gary Vaynerchuk, CEO of VaynerMedia, VeeFriends, and my latest book is Day Trading Attention. I view myself as an entrepreneur. I grew up in my dad's liquor store and innovated by having one of the first e-commerce websites. I was an early investor in Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr, and in more recent years have been an author and a speaker, but also running a 2,000 person plus global advertising agency. And at the end of the day, I could not explain to all of you watching or listening more how many marketing ideas literally spend no time on, will the person on the other side like this? It's just, this is the way it's always been done. Or how many do we have to sell? Sell. But I did not buy this sneaker because somebody knocked on my door and sold it to me. Or I landed on a website that explained why I had to own this. The Super Bowl, I would say, is a place where we do a better job caring. We try to actually make that 30-second video entertaining. I think I see it every day in social media. I see young brands actually make content that people want to watch. When your lens is caring and empathy to connect with the consumer, you're actually thinking about them. Will the person on the other side like this? For me, that's the $1 million question.
So, do you have strategies for how to connect with your audience?
I would say my number one strategy is something I've done my whole life, which is before I start talking, I listen. Literally, your biggest advantage is time. Don't buy into an antiquated process. You're entering the greatest 5-year window of your life. And, you know, obviously it seems like I'm always talking, but almost everything that comes out of my mouth has been predicated on me doing a lot of hours of listening. Social media's greatest power is the ability to see what people are thinking. We're living in the golden era of consumer insights because of social media. And I think the best businesses in the world are fixing something that everyone's complaining about but hasn't been fixed yet. Here's a good example. Drive-through fast food. People value time. And obviously someone eventually said, you know what? Instead of making them park and walk in and wait in line and get their burger and fries, why don't we just let them drive through? That was a very strong innovation, a good idea. This is one big game of listening. Historically, this is what you do through focus groups. This is what you now can do through social listening at scale. The question is, what do you then do about it? The last 10 years of storytelling has evolved tremendously. We are no longer in tribes sitting around a fire telling a story. News cycles are now 12 and 24 hours, not 12 and 24 days. So the speed of keeping attention has changed dramatically. Also, the ability to storytell has exploded. You don't need an editor-in-chief. You don't need the local newspaper. You don't need someone at the TV network saying that you're allowed to be on camera and talk to the world. That's gone. There's not a person watching this who doesn't have permission now to tell the world their story as a human or their story about the business or organization, nonprofit, or whatever other body they're working with to the world. On the flip side, it's never been harder. What pictures? What videos? What animated GIFs? What copy? What time do you post? How long is the video? Audio, lighting. I mean, this has become a profoundly complex game. Here's the good news for everyone who's scared by how hard and fast it is. A great story will still find its way. Even if you don't know the best practices of how to post on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, you will be stunned how much a story can find its audience if it's just told from the heart in a pure form. When I talk about patience, it drives ambitious people crazy. I have a lot of high energy, in your face, loud, New Jersey style. And when I throw out patience, they're like, wait a minute, you're going off cue. Like, this doesn't sound like you, Gary. And I'm like, that's because you don't realize that patience is not complacency. Patience is probably one of the most important ingredients in building something meaningful. One of the reasons most people don't have patience is because of fear. They fear failing, and so they try to go fast because if it's not going well, they can't deal with the music, aka the judgment of the people around them. If patience is not one of your partners, you're dead. You're too short term, you're gonna deviate from the plan, and you're probably gonna make a misstep. You know, I always hear people say, well, okay, Gary, I'm into patience, I'm building something meaningful in brand. Like, how do I know it's working? And look, I think the answer is results. When I was building my father's wine business, the way I was noticing if we were building brand was based on the fact that I had to spend less money on advertising every year, but was achieving higher sales every year because after 5 or 6 years of good work, I could see that the word of mouth and the reputation, the brand, was carrying the business. And so, you know, I think at the end of the day, you have to measure brand based on business results, but you've got to play that out for a long time. Because when you start thinking 100-year terms versus 100-day terms, you're playing a totally different game. When you think long and when you think about leaving a legacy, you tend to ironically make more money because you're building a stronger foundation. I ask you to take this video, this energy, and deploy it to not just your content or your marketing strategies or even your business. Deploy it to your life. It will help you be a better father, mother, sister, brother, child, human, to make the future more joyous and impactful.
Get smarter, faster with videos from the world's biggest thinkers. To learn even more from the world's biggest thinkers, get Big Think Plus for your business.
So how'd you guys like it? Did anything really stick out to you? Did anything really make sense to you? Well, there were two major points that made sense to me that I just want to talk about really quickly. I don't want to regurgitate the whole video that you just spent 7 or 8 minutes watching, but there were two major points that really stuck out to me that are really going to help you with your future business or even your current existing business. The first one is, if you're going to fill your customer's head with messages, why not let them enjoy it? I think that we start with the thought processes of they're going to enjoy this, but as you go through the phases of designing, creatively editing, the whole thing, on the back end of it, it turns into I really like this or we really like this versus will they really like this. I think we need to put all the emphasis on will they like this, not necessarily if we like it. There's a big difference between the two. And if you ever had to create some sort of ad or do anything creatively, you know what the process is like and how you can get steered in a different direction than where you originally started of. They're really going to love this. It usually ends up that I like this or we like this and we're going to go with it. So I think that was the first major thought-provoking thing in the video. Number 2 is the point about patience, right? A lot of us get caught up with thinking that somebody's going to take our idea or somebody's going to start it before us and they're going to get the opportunity that we didn't have because they started before us, or they're going to make more money because they hit market before I did. I mean, and usually 99% of the time that's not true, right? You can sell the same thing as somebody else and yours still be better and more popular in the whole thing, even if you started after. But that's not really the point. The point is, like what he was saying about if you have short-term thinking, you're going to deviate at some point because things happen, things change, you're going to deviate. But if you have patience, you're taking your time on the macro scale of it all, you're going to get to where you want to get to. I think that was the biggest part for me, is when you're rushing, you make mistakes. And that's a big part of this channel too, is to get you to understand that, you know, you can get from A to Z without making any mistakes, without losing any momentum, and without wasting a bunch of money. The people who get into this who really don't know what's going on and who are just guessing and maybe getting advice from here and there and wherever, you end up making mistakes. Some people never get to the finish line. Some people may get to the finish line, but it's way longer than it took, and they lost a bunch of time and they lost a bunch of money. So patience is key. Legacy is key. Like, what are you really working for? Sometimes majority of the time, it's gonna take a lot longer than what you thought. So those are my 2 biggest takeaways. Like I said, I don't want to regurgitate the whole video because Gary said it well enough. But if you guys haven't seen, right now it's March, at the time of this shooting is March 2024. And I'm literally in the process of building a food trailer for a client of mine. And I've been putting them up on the shorts if you haven't seen them. So, but if you haven't, go check them out. We're literally building this food trailer in real time. So I'm posting every day, the different developments every day. We're moving really fast on it. So that's why I'm able to post every day, where normally, you know, might space it out a little bit. So if you haven't seen those, go check them out. I got more videos coming here really soon, and we're also doing lives, Q&As, AMAs every Monday night at 9:30 Eastern. So join us, put that on your schedule, turn the notifications on, like, subscribe, all that stuff. So I'll see you guys on the next one. I appreciate you watching. Talk to you soon.